Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I have a speed paint or speed draw for you of Charlie in a hot air balloon. I thought it had been a while since I'd done a video of a complete full colour Charlie piece, so here it is. And I'm going to be answering some of your questions as you watch me draw, because I recently reached 500 subscribers and I've been saying for a while that I am going to do a Q&A when I hit 500, and that happened. So firstly, thank you very much to all who has subscribed to me. It means so much to me that I've got this far, so I'm going to answer some of your questions. But before I do, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the artwork. I'm using a piece of Canson Bristol board. I used some Unipin liners to ink the line art rather, not the outside, and I'm using Copic and some pro markers and white polychromos pencil, a gold and a white gel pen. Obviously I'm using a white gel pen because it's KT4 Arts channel, and I also used a blue pencil over the sky just to even it out a little bit later on. And if you want to colour this piece yourself, I have put it on my Patreon in the $1 tier, so you can go across there if you're interested, and if you pledge $1 you'll be able to download not only this colouring page but a few others as well. And I will also be putting this up on my Redbubble if you want to buy some prints and merch with this piece on. I really like how this piece turned out. I think it's really cute and really friendly, and Charlie looks like he's having so much fun going up in that hot air balloon. So I've been putting calls out on social media and YouTube for quite a long time, asking for questions if there's anything you guys want to ask me, and I think I have got them all and I've put them all into one list. A few questions I'll be grouping together just because they're very similar, rather than just repeat myself, because that would be a little bit boring. So I have, first of all, a couple of questions related to Charlie. So Rookie Roo asks, how did you come up with Charlie Mouse as a character? Lily Thompson asks, how many OCs do you have and how do you come up with them? And Parasol Mushroom asks, is there an origin story for coming up with Charlie? We all need to know, the people want answers. So I'm going to try and give you some answers. I started drawing Charlie few years ago. I can't remember how many years ago it was, but I sort of had the idea that he would be a little church mouse, and I'd write little stories of his adventures and do some little doodles. And I do have some really early pictures of Charlie in his really early stages. He looked a little bit different to what he does now. For example, he had many spikes in his hair before I refined it to 3 distinct spikes. He wasn't quite as squishy in the face, not sure if that's the right term, but he's more squishy in the face now and he's a lot more developed. But I do have some older stories, and I did used to write them down on a blog. I'm not telling you where it is because it's quite cringy and awkward. But yeah, I do have some old pictures, and if you'd like a video where I react to old Charlie pictures, do let me know in the comments below. But Charlie has been developing over the past few years, especially over the last couple of years. I think I've developed him even more, and I do want to write some stories and develop him even further and make a little world for him and make some more characters. There is a mouse called Felicity who is his friend, and I do want to create a few more characters for his world. So let me know if you have any ideas for any friends for him. So Lukey Fuji asks, what is your favourite colour and what is your favourite art medium? So I think my favourite colour is quite difficult to answer because I don't actually have one. There are many colours that I quite like. I like really bold bright yellow with a slight hint of orange to it. There's something about colouring in with yellow, it doesn't go streaky even with water-based markers. I remember as a kid being really keen on colouring in yellow because it didn't have the streaky effect that other colours did. That's quite random and strange, but yeah, I've always remembered that. And I like lime greens as well, the lime green of this balloon, the orange, the red, pretty much all colours. But I also have another favourite colour, as you probably will have guessed, is Prussian blue, and especially in a Copic marker because it's really good to shade with, and it's a really deep rich blue colour and it's just a great colour. And for my favourite medium, I think alcohol based markers are up there because I just really enjoy colouring in them. You can get some really good effects and they're just really nice to colour with, and I like collecting all the colours. But I also like acrylic paint, I think, because you can experiment with lots of different alternative brushes. For example, I've used oboe reeds and guitar picks and all that kind of thing, and you can really get some interesting textures with acrylic paint, and I've always quite enjoyed using acrylic paint ever since I was at school. Beth Drawings asks, have you thought about doing a tea and coffee challenge? I have thought about it, but I don't think I'm going to do it just yet because it's a little bit too much like watercolour, and watercolour is one of my art fears, if you like. I'm not very good with watercolour. I don't really like losing as much control of the colours, but it's something I might try in the future, and I think I want to practice a little bit more with watercolours like I did with the cheap paints. I think I will practice a little bit more with some cheap paints and getting used to watercolour a bit more before I try doing something with tea and coffee. So Ren Stark asks, where do you see your art career in 5 years, and what plans do you have to continue developing your original characters? Well, I've already answered the second part of that a bit earlier, but regarding art career, I'm hoping in 5 years I'll still be on YouTube and I will have grown a bigger audience, and I will be hopefully earning some of my income from art. But to be honest, I just really enjoy what I'm doing, and I just want to be carrying on doing art, and I want my skills to hopefully get better, and I obviously want to still be drawing Charlie in 5 years time. If I'm not drawing Charlie in 5 years time, something's gone really wrong. And Zestu AI asks, what made you start a YouTube channel? I think it's because I was following lots of other YouTube artists and I really wanted to have a go and see if I could do it. It was a bit scary at first because I'm not very technically minded with when it comes to video editing, for example, and doing voiceovers, but I think that's something I have got better at. So yeah, I think it was just because I wanted to give it a go really and be like other artists and get my art out there a bit more and show how I create the process as well as the final product. Alex Days asks, what inspired you to draw, and when did you start getting serious about art? And there's another question from Speedscape which is very similar. What artists have inspired you most to make art? So when I was a kid, I really was into Nick Sharratt and his illustrations. I always used to love seeing all of his illustrations, and I always used to copy his style, and I think he was one of the first to inspire me. I wanted to be like him, I wanted to draw like him, and as I got older I developed more of my own style, but I still think there are some influences from him in my work, especially where Charlie is concerned. And I did actually meet him a while ago, and I took my Charlie sketchbook and showed him and told him that I was inspired by him, blah blah blah, very nervously, and I do have a video all about that, so I'll link that in the card above. I also follow quite a lot of YouTubers. There's many YouTubers that I follow. I can't put them all into this video. I'm trying to think now. Chloe Rose Art, Robin Sealark, Bailey J, Drawer of Jazza, who else? I can't think. Sacco M's, Mira Byler, all those people. And I did do a video where I drew them all as mice, all of the YouTube artists that I watch and inspired me. So again, I'll leave a card. I don't want to leave anyone out, so go and watch that if you want to know who inspires me. So when did I get serious about art? I think I did quite a lot of art at school. I did GCSE and then A-level art, and I was quite serious about it then. But when I went to university to do my undergraduate and masters, it kind of took a bit of a sideline. I did it occasionally as a bit of a hobby, but it's kind of come back over the past 2 or 3 years. I've really got into it again, and I think my art skills have improved the most over the past 2 or 3 years, and I think now is where I'm most serious about art. So hope that answers that part of the question. And Olga asks, well, she had quite a lot of questions, so I just picked 1 or 2. She asks, have you ever owned a mouse? No, I haven't owned a mouse. I'd like to own a mouse, but they don't have a very long lifespan, and I think I'd get quite upset when they die. So I'm a little bit in 2 minds in whether to get a mouse, but I would like one. And are you doing art as a job? No, I'm not doing art as a job. Art is just a hobby for me. I would like to in the future, like I said earlier, maybe have some of my income come from art, but at the moment it's not a job for me. And Paver's Art Book, I think I said that right, sorry if I didn't, asks, are you ever envious of art even if the artist has a simpler style than yours? And I think that is a very, very good question, and I think that's something that every artist can relate to every so often. Even though we don't like to do this and we don't like to admit that we do this, we do sometimes look at some people's art and think, oh, how are you so much more popular than me when your style is a bit simpler, blah blah blah. We've all done it, even though it's not very nice. And I think that is a big struggle, and that is as big as a struggle as anatomy for some people. And you know, I think it's really difficult not to get, I'm going to use the word salty about it, but at the end of the day everyone is at a different place in their art journey, and everyone has a different following, and everybody, you know, whether they have 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 50,000, whatever, they've all worked hard to get there, and we mustn't lose sight of that, and we mustn't get jealous or envious of these people, because at the end of the day, if that's your reason for doing art is because you want to get all the followers and all the subscribers and all that, then you're not really doing it for the right reasons. I'm rambling a little bit now and I'm not really answering the question very well, but yeah, those are my thoughts on that question. Maybe that's a discussion video, maybe how to not be jealous of art or envious of other artists. If you want that discussion video, let me know in the comments below. So I'm down to the final 2 questions now, and Sabrina asks, was Charlie your first OC? I'm pretty sure I did try and invent other characters, but there are none that I can really remember off the top of my head. I think Charlie is definitely my first and probably only really serious, if that's the right word, OC, but maybe I should develop some more. That might be a future goal. And finally, Vegan Oreo asks, very, very important and controversial question, pineapple on a pizza? ? My answer is just one word: no. I know that is a very controversial thing to say on YouTube, on the internet, but pineapple on a pizza is a big no. So thank you for everyone who submitted a question. I think I got them all. I'm really sorry if I missed your question. I tried my hardest to answer every question I had. And this is the final result of the drawing from this video. I'm really pleased how this turned out, and like I said, it will be in my Redbubble shop and on my Patreon. Links will be in the description below. And if you like this video, you know, emotionally, please do leave it a like down below, as that really helps me out. But that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye for now.